All right, time for another game of Marvel Champions. Today we will be moving to our last character in the letter C part of the alphabet. Today we'll be playing as Cyclops. And Cyclops is a leadership character, so he's going to be playing lots of allies and all that kind of stuff. And then he is going to use these upgrades that he can attach to enemies. And they are going to have some kind of an effect. So this one says exploit weakness. So you can see it's a picture of Beast lifting up Juggernaut's helmet. So it says increase the amount of damage attached enemy takes from each attack by 1. So he's got a bunch of those types of upgrades. On his alter ego side, it says we can include X-Men allies from any aspect in our deck. I think I just have one non-leadership ally in here. I think I have a Justice ally in here right now, but you can include all kinds of stuff. And then at the beginning of the game, as your first action, or really any action in your alter ego form, you can search your deck for a tactic upgrade and add it to your hand. So I drew my hand of 6 cards, and then I went ahead and found another one. So I've got myself all set up and ready to go. On Cyclops' hero side, he has an ability that says he can spend a resource of any type to deal 3 damage to an enemy that has an upgrade attached to it. And then, so that's another reason why we're going to want to attach upgrades to enemies. Okay, our next villain in alphabetical order is the Four Horsemen. So obviously there's 4 villains. Instead of doing 4 different dials for them, I've just got dice on them to represent how much health they have left. And then they will have this counter that they will pass between them, and that will represent which of them is currently the active villain, and that'll be the main villain that will activate during the villain turn. So that'll be the one that does the scheme or attack, depending on which form I'm in. And then each one has an ability that will trigger after they attack. So each one says after they attack, they will do something, which means if you're in alter ego form and they scheme, then they don't use that ability. The other thing that we have to keep in mind is that we don't win until all of them are defeated. So each of the cards says that that villain cannot be defeated while another villain has at least 1 health. So basically we just have to get them all down to 0 in order to win. That does not mean that we have to get them all down to 0 at the same time. We just have to get them all down to 0 eventually. So if I knock this one down to 0, for example, he has not technically been defeated, so he's still in the game and he would still activate and do his attack or scheme. But their abilities on their cards say that they have to have at least 1 health in order to do the text ability on their cards. So you can knock them down to 0, and that will mean they will still be in the game. They'll still be scheming or attacking against you, but they won't get to do their extra effect if they're at 0 health. And then eventually you want to knock all of them down to 0. So they all start with 9. The order that they come out in, this row of cards, is random, and when this guy activates, this token will just move to the next one. So then this card will become active. So this order will be different every time you play this scenario. And then the other thing that will be random at the beginning of the scenario is you find one of their side schemes. Each one has a side scheme that goes with it, and you randomly pick one of those and put it in play. And so I started with this one. It just happened to be that I got the war side scheme and the war villain as the first one that was random. And so this is a side scheme that we'll have to deal with, and it will make us have an extra encounter card each round. And then all of these side schemes that are from these guys are going to do the same thing that they do. So war, when he attacks me, will make me discard an upgrade or support I control. And when I get rid of this side scheme, I have to do the same thing. So the same thing will happen with all of the other ones. Then our main scheme just tells us that after a villain activates, it's going to move the active counter to the next villain in line. They will also have cards in their deck that will make it move faster, so you can't always predict which villain will be the next active villain because it isn't necessarily going to just move one space at a time. And then they only have this one scheme, so if this ever hits 12, we lose. I believe that is everything. The only other thing is that this scenario asks us to use 2 modular sets, Dystopian Nightmare and Hounds, and we are again not using those. We're using the next 2 in alphabetical order. The first one we're using is City in Chaos, and the second one we are using is Clan Akaba, and Clan Akaba actually works pretty well because that is a group of people that are helping Apocalypse in this campaign, so that actually thematically works out. So that is that. Okay, so I guess we will go ahead and get started. The character that I probably want to get rid of first is probably War, because War is the one that is going to make me discard upgrades or supports that I control, and Cyclops' whole thing is that he is trying to attach upgrades to villains and stuff. Each of his upgrades does have the temporary keyword. A bunch of his tactic upgrades have this temporary keyword, so they're not going to stay in play forever. They're just going to be in play until the end of the round, and then they get discarded. So I'm going to have to discard them anyway, but I don't want to have to discard even more, especially because I started with his visor in my hand, and basically this makes his ability on his hero side, where I can deal damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached to it, essentially makes that ability free because it specifically produces a resource to use that ability. So I do not want War to stick around for very long. So that being the case, I've already done his action on his alter ego side, and I don't have anything else I can do in alter ego form, so I'm going to go ahead and flip over. And I'm going to spend 1 resource to play Exploit Weakness, and I'm going to attach it to War, so any damage I deal to him is increased by 1. And then I will spend another 1 and attach Practice Defense to him as well. Each of his tactic upgrades says max 1 per enemy, but I believe that means 1 of each unique title of card, so I can't have 2 exploit weaknesses on him, but I can have 1 of each of these. I've only played Cyclops, I think, twice, maybe 3 times, so I'm not super familiar with his deck, so I'm just kind of rolling with it. And then I'd like to put his visor into play, so I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to spend 2 resources and play his visor, and then I'm going to use his visor to produce a yellow resource for his action on his card here, which is to spend a resource and deal 3 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached to it, but that's really going to be 4 damage. Because any damage dealt to this guy is increased by 1, so I'm going to deal 4 damage to him. And then I'm going to use Cyclops, his basic attack, to attack for 1 plus 1 for 2. So I'm going to knock him down to 3. And then I think that's it. So I'll go ahead and ready. And draw my 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then it's going to be their turn. They get 1 threat on the main scheme, and then War is going to activate against me, and he's going to activate for -1 attack because of the practice defense. So he's going to attack me for 1 plus a card. And I am not going to defend it, so I'm going to take 1 plus 3. Ouch. So that's 4. Down to 6. And then after War attacks you, if he has at least 1 health, discard an upgrade or support you control. Now, I'm assuming that means that I can discard these early. I'm hoping that is okay. This is one of those times where it's an interaction with this game that I'm not sure exactly how that works. Okay, and then the main scheme over here says after a villain activates, move the counter to the next villain. And then I'm going to get 2 encounter cards, 1 for the side scheme and then the normal one. First one is Tyrant Worship, place 5 threat on Ancient Ritual. Oh shoot, so since I'm playing with Clan Akaba, I think the Clan Akaba side scheme was supposed to start in play. Yep, I missed that. So this side scheme should have started in play. And it should have started with 5. And now the card that I just pulled is adding 5 to it. Forgot that card had to start in play. Okay, so this card is adding 5 threat to it. So then this says after threat is placed here, if there's at least 10, remove 5 threat from this scheme and deal each player a face down encounter card. So it would have been at 10, goes back down to 5, and then I get another encounter card. Okay, second encounter card is Rough Riders. Resolve the response on the active villain as if it has at least 1 hit point and attack you. After Famine attacks you, if they have at least 1 hit point, discard the top 10 cards of your deck. Then move the active counter to the next villain and resolve its forced response the same way. So I have to discard the top 10 cards of my deck, and then I have to treat my identity's text box as if it were blank until the next villain phase. Oh my gosh. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cards off the top of my deck into my discard pile. Man, this scenario is hard. I haven't even finished the first round yet, and I'm already like, oh no. Okay, next encounter card is Rhino. Okay, he has Steady and Overkill and Piercing. Okay. Rhino, and I've got Rhino and the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. Man, just a bad day for Cyclops here. Okay, and then at the end of the round, this practice defense gets discarded because it's temporary. Okay. So since my text box is blank, that means I can't use my ability here. Man, that is just unfortunate. Okay. All right, I'm going to spend 3 resources. And I am going to play Professor X. After Professor X enters play, choose one, confuse the villain, stun a minion, or ready an X-Men character. At the end of the round, if Professor X is still in play, discard him. I'm going to confuse the villain. And then I am going to thwart for 2 with Cyclops on the Ravages of War. I'm going to thwart for 3 with Professor X on the Ravages of War. And he takes a damage. And then I'm going to flip to my alter ego side. On my alter ego side, I can search my deck for a tactic upgrade and add it to my hand. Okay, so I'm getting a rapid response. And then I'm going to, now that I'm on my alter ego side, I have the mutant trait, so I can play X-Men Instruction, play only if you have if your identity has the mutant trait. Choose up to 2 X-Men allies in your discard pile and shuffle them into your deck. So I will take 2 X-Men allies from my discard pile back into my deck. I am going to take I think I only have 2. Yep, so I'm going to take Phoenix and Beast. Beast I spent as a resource. Phoenix was one of the 10 cards that I had to discard because of famine. So those get shuffled back into my deck. Okay, and then I am going to pass there. I'm going to ready all my stuff, and I'm going to draw my hand size, which is going to be 4 cards because I have 2 in my hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. They're going to get 1 threat on the main scheme. And then Pestilence would activate me against me. She would scheme, but she's confused, so she just loses that. And then that means that the token doesn't move because she didn't actually activate. And then Rhino would activate, but his scheme is 0, so he doesn't do anything. Okay, and then I'm going to get 2 encounter cards again. First one is Plague and Pestilence, so that's another of the Four Horsemen specific side schemes. And I have to remove threat from it before I can remove threat from the main scheme. Okay, and then my second encounter card is Gang Up. So I'm in alter ego form, so this card gains Surge, so I draw a new one. New one is Clan Akaba Zealot. Has guard, and if I defeat it, I place 2 threat on the Ancient Ritual side scheme. Okay, then it is my turn. All right. I have an action on here where I can search my deck for an tactic upgrade, but I'm pretty sure I don't have any now because I've played them or discarded them, or they're in my hand at this point. Yep, I don't have any, so all right, so I could heal. Do I want to heal? I probably should. So I'm going to heal 3. And then I'm going to flip to my hero side and oh, Professor X at the end of the last round should have went away. Forgot about that. Okay. Okay, I am going to spend 1, 2, 3 resources from my hand to play Phoenix. After Phoenix enters play, choose a Cyclops card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. Got lots of Cyclops cards in my discard pile. That one I think is the one I want. Yep, so I'm going to take Tactical Brilliance out of my discard pile back into my hand. And then I am going to actually, no, that doesn't work. I'm not going to take Tactical Brilliance. I'm going to take yeah, that one makes more sense. I'm going to take Priority Target. Because then I can attach that to, I'm going to attach that to War. And then I'm going to use the Visor to produce a resource to deal 3 damage with my ability on my card here, to deal 3 damage to an enemy with an upgrade attached to it, so that will kill or knock War down to 0. And then Priority Target says when that enemy, oh, technically he's not defeated, is he? Shoot. Okay, so let's do it this way then. So let's attach it to the Clan Akaba Zealot. Oh, I had to do this anyway because the Clan Akaba Zealot has guard, so I had to get rid of it before I could deal damage to these guys anyway. Okay, so I will attach Priority Target to the Clan Akaba Zealot and then use my Visor to deal 3 damage to it, which knocks it out. And then Priority Target says, since I defeated that enemy, the player who defeated it draws 2 cards. So I get to draw 2 cards. Okay. Then I'm going to spend 2 resources to play Triage Ally, And when she enters play, I can heal 2 damage from an X-Men character. I've only taken 1 damage, so I'm only 1 health down from full, so I'm just gonna heal back to full. And then I'm going to thwart for 1 with triage to get rid of the Ravages of War. And when defeated, I have to discard an upgrade or support that I control, which means I'm going to have to get rid of the visor. Shoot. Okay. Then I will man, this is nuts. I will thwart for 2 with Phoenix on Plague and Pestilence. And then I have 1 card in my hand that I cannot play at the moment, so that's it. And then I will draw 4 cards to get to 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then I will start their turn, so they get a threat on the main scheme. And then Pestilence is activating against me, so she is going to attack me for 1 plus a card. I'm not going to defend it, just because it's small, relatively. And because I'm going to have to take an attack from Rhino. Yeah, so I'm going to take the attack from Pestilence. So I take 1 plus 1 is 2. And then Rhino has Overkill. So he's attacking me for 3. If I have either of these guys take it, I'll take what's left, but I think I'm still going to do that. I'm going to have Triage take 1 of it, and then I'll take the other 2. Okay, I only get 1 encounter card this round, finally. Okay, so my 1 encounter card is Horsemen of Pestilence. Oh, speaking of which, after Pestilence attacks you, if she has at least 1 health, treat my identity's text box as if it were blank, so I can't use my ability. And then this moves here. And then Horseman of Pestilence. Heal 2 damage from Pestilence. Can't do that. And give her a tough status card. She activates against you. Great. Okay, so she has a tough card. And she's attacking me for 1 plus a card. I will have Phoenix defend this one. So she's attacking for 1, plus 2 is 3. Phoenix gets knocked out. And then my text box was already blank, but now it's blank again. Okay. Well. This is not going well. Okay. All right, so at the beginning of my turn, I'm going to spend 2 resources to play Tactical Brilliance to remove 3 threat from a scheme and choose a tactic card in my discard pile and add it to my hand. So I'll remove 3 from here. And then I get a tactic card from my discard pile back to my hand. Which is a lot of cards. Okay. cards to choose from here. Of course, some of them are duplicates. Okay, so I know I don't want either of these. So it's going to be one of these three. So I can increase the amount of damage an enemy takes. I can give an enemy -1 attack, or I can, when an enemy is defeated, I could draw 2 cards. I think I'm going to increase the amount of damage an enemy takes because I'm going to flip over to alter ego form, so they're not going to be attacking me anyway. Oops. So I'm going to take Exploit Weakness back into my hand. I'm going to play it by paying Rapid Response. I'm going to attach it to I might as well just attach it to War and then attack him for 2. And then I'm going to flip over to hero side or alter ego side. And then I'm going to play X-Men Instructions. Since I'm in alter ego form, I can get 2 X-Men allies from my discard pile, shuffled back into my deck. Got 3 to choose from. I've got Professor X, I've got Triage, and I've got Phoenix. I'm going to do Triage because I need to heal, and Phoenix. Shuffle those 2 back into my deck. And then that's going to be the end of my turn. So I'm going to ready and draw 6. There's that one Justice ally I thought I had included. Okay. Okay, so the active villain is currently Death, so he is going to scheme for, first of all, they get a threat on the main scheme. Okay, and then he's going to scheme for 1 plus a card, so scheme for 2. Scheme for 2 more, so 3 total. And then the counter will move to the next person, and then I get an encounter card. Of course. Okay, Shadow of the Past. All right, I get Mr. Sinister. He starts with a tough. I get a side scheme. I get genetic manipulation. And then I shuffle the other 3 cards into the deck. Well, this is certainly a thematic game we've got going on here. We've got Clan Akaba from Apocalypse trying to affect us. We've got all of the Four Horsemen. We've got Mr. Sinister. We've got Cyclops. We're just getting a full X-Men comic series going here. And then technically Rhino should have activated, but he schemes for 0, so that didn't matter. Okay. Then it's my turn. Okay. All right, I'm going to spend 4 resources and put Beast into play. It says after Beast enters play, search your deck and discard pile for a resource card and add it to your hand. I just used one to play him, so I'm just going to take it back because it would be in my discard pile. And then I'm going to spend 3 resources to also play Phoenix. Oh, and then my card here should have gotten discarded at the end of the round. I'm going to use his ability to search my deck for a tactic upgrade. I don't think I have any at this point, but I'll look. I do not. My deck only has 5 cards in it, so. And then I'm going to flip to my hero side. Oh, after Phoenix enters play, I should have gotten to choose a Cyclops card in my discard pile and add it to my hand. Which is a lot of cards because my deck is almost empty. I should probably get my visor back, though I wouldn't get to play it right this second. But I should probably get it back before I have to shuffle my deck. That way I don't have to hunt for it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and grab my visor back. And then I will... Man, I don't even know at this point. War is the active villain this round, so I'm going to knock him down to 0 with Cyclops' attack, just so I don't have to deal with his extra ability on the bottom as well. And then I will use... Man, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna use either Beast or Phoenix, doesn't really matter. I'll use one of them to... Oh my gosh. I'm gonna use one of them to thwart for 2 on the Plague and Pestilence side scheme, which means my text box is blank until the beginning of the next villain phase. And then I'm going to use Phoenix to thwart for 2 on the main scheme now that I can. And I think that's going to be it. I'm going to keep my visor in my hand. I'm going to ready my characters and draw 4 cards to get up to hand size. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1 card left in my deck. Oh boy. Okay. Well, this card would have been nice a long time ago. All right. All right, so they get 1 threat on the main scheme. And then War is going to activate against me for 2 attack plus a card, plus I'm going to take 3 attack from Rhino, plus I'm going to take 1 attack plus a card because Mr. Sinister has Villainous from Mr. Sinister. Oh boy, so I'm taking at least 6 damage total. Well, I guess I'm going to be using some allies. Okay. So this attack from War, I will defend for 2, 3, and I defend for 2, so I only take 1. The attack from Rhino, I will put on Beast. Beast takes 2 of it. Rhino's attack has overkill, so I still take 1. Down to 4. Then Mr. Sinister is going to attack for 1 plus a card, and I will have Phoenix take it. And Phoenix takes 4 and is knocked out. Then, there was an extra boost icon, so that would have affected when War attacked me. I should have taken 1 more damage, down to 3. Okay. And then when War attacked, this would have gone here, and then the text on War would not have triggered because they're at 0 hit points, and it wouldn't have mattered anyway because I don't have any upgrades or supports in play anyway. I get an encounter. So I resolve this guy's forced effect, which is discard top 10 cards of your deck. I only have 1, so I discard that. And then this goes here, and Pestilence makes my text box blank, which it already was. Okay. My turn. I'm going to spend 2 resources to replay my visor, even though it doesn't really do anything right now. Then I'm going to spend 2 more resources for an ally. After Forge enters play, search your deck and discard pile for an X-Men or X-Force support and add it to your hand. I get to search my entire discard because my entire deck is in my discard pile right now. So I'm looking for a support. Okay. I will take I'm going to take the X-Jet and add it to my hand. Forge is going to attack for 1 to get rid of the tough on Pestilence. And then I'm going to flip to my alter ego side and ready. And then I have to shuffle my deck so I get an extra encounter card. And then I need to draw up to 6. Entirely possible that I lose right now because Pestilence is going to be scheming for at least 3, plus they're going to be getting the 1 that they always get, so they're going to be at 7 plus 3 is 10. So if they get a +2 boost icon on the boost card, I lose, which is okay because, whew. This game has been over for a while, I feel like. Trying to give my deck a really good shuffle because a lot of cards were together since I was searching my deck so much. I was sorting them to find things. So just trying to shuffle it really well. Okay, I'm drawing 5 cards to get up to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so they get their 1 threat for the beginning of the round. And then Pestilence is going to scheme for 2. Plus, after this activation, Death activates against you. Do not give Death a boost card for that activation. So Pestilence is scheming for 2. The active counter goes to Death. Death activates against me for... oh, sorry, I just mathed that all out and then I completely forgot. The extra boost icon would have meant she did that. So she's at 10. Then Death activates against me but does not get a boost card. So this just goes to that. So it's at 11. But then I forgot about these 2, so I was going to lose anyway because Mr. Sinister schemes for 1, 2, 3, 4. And that brings that up to way more than 12. So that is it. Yep, that's it. Cyclops is definitely better as a multiplayer character. Also, this scenario is just really difficult. I wasn't planning on doing super well in this game, but Cyclops is really good in multiplayer because he can give all these global effects to certain villains, and then that applies to everybody, like the card that makes it so that character takes more damage from attacks. That applies from anybody attacking it, not just you, and things like that, and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not sure if I should have I probably should have. I didn't think about it. I probably should have taken out Pestilence first. I was thinking that War making me discard upgrades was going to be more annoying, but Pestilence was actually the biggest issue because it kept making my text box blank, which meant I couldn't use his ability to deal damage, and so I kind of just stalled out after a while. Having Rhino, a giant villain, out right away at the beginning and getting my Shadow of the Past, obviously those things don't help, but if I were to do that one again, I think I would have taken out Pestilence first instead of War, just because Cyclops is very dependent on having his ability on his card there. I also didn't get like any of his big attacks. He's got an attack that does like 11 damage if you combine it with his text ability here and a bunch of stuff like that. So just wasn't an ideal situation in any case today. Let's see. That's it for the letter C characters. So next we'll be starting. The next letter is D, so we'll be going to Deadpool. Will be the next character. That'll certainly be interesting because he's kind of crazy. Deadpool will be going against the... let's see. We're going to do the first version of Green Goblin. So we're going to do the Risky Business version of Green Goblin, which the 2 Green Goblin scenarios are still 2 of my absolute favorite scenarios to play always, regardless of what character I'm playing as. So that'll be fun. All right, so today was a loss, but that's all right. We had 3 wins in a row with Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Colossus, so we were due. All right, thank you for watching, everyone.